My children now.
Oh, you're so cool, Brewster.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
You won and I died.
I'm feeling woozy, yeah. They're coming to get you, Barbara.
How's it hanging, Phil?
From the prime time, bitch.
Come and get it.
So either put the gun down now or kiss your ass goodbye.
Let's get this party started.
I agree, Dana. Let's get this party started. So, welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge.
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
And let's talk horror. Now, before we go anywhere, happy birthday to my beautiful wife.
Thank you.
35 trips around the sun.
Yeah.
So, and you get more beautiful and more beautiful every single day.
Thank
so,
you.
thank you for spending 19 of those 35 years with me.
Yeah.
I love you.
It hasn't been easy.
So yeah, now we got the mushy stuff out of the way. We are joined by three amazing content creators, three people that we genuinely look up to and are so happy to work with once again. We have Zena, the real queen of horror. How you doing tonight?
Good. How are you guys?
We are
great.
a lot better now.
Yeah.
And we also have Kat and Jazz, the two members of the always amazing Girl That's Scary. Ladies, how you doing tonight?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Hey.
Hey, y'all.
We are so excited to have you guys here. And for those of you that don't know them, we do have all their social media links, everything right down in the description. So please make sure you're following, subscribing, doing all the amazing things that you need to do to show them that you appreciate what they do. So before we get started, I do want to say thank you to Good Real Hunting for becoming a member tonight.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, good. I said heel.
Good heel runting. Hey, like I said, you drive.
Yeah.
All the other hammerheads will
Be
let you
very
know.
careful.
Yes, be very, very careful. Happy birthday, Ashley. Have a drink on me.
Thanks,
Thank you, Charles. And since we got our first donation, guys, you know what that means.
Ooh, baby, ooh, baby, ooh, baby, ooh, baby.
Just makes you want to sing.
Makes you want to eat enchiladas.
Anyone new here, please like and subscribe. We would appreciate that very much. A lot of happy birthday wishes to Ashley. We appreciate
Thanks,
that.
everybody.
In love with horror. Hey.
Hello.
Ryan, Paul.
Hello, Ryan, and thank you.
Michael's here. Our good friend Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
Hey.
So I believe you all know Michael too.
Yes.
T. Parker.
Hey, T.
Ken's not
Parker.
allowed to slander Halloween today.
No, it's my birthday, the one day of the year. He cannot slander it.
Yep. I will try my hardest.
Wow, not even on a
hey,
girl's birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, nice.
That's
We're
awesome.
birthday twins.
You must be a very amazing person.
Yeah.
In love with horror. We are also I'm surrounded by four beautiful horror queens.
Lucky
You know,
guy.
like,
Lucky guy.
I got the best seat in the house tonight. Like, I'm super excited. Everybody knows what my number one is going to be, guys, but it is not about the destination. It's about the journey. So let's figure out what's going up until my number one, because there are some changes from the last time we did this a couple years ago. So, you know, there are some of those. So we do have honorable mentions.
Yeah.
And I know that.
But this is still 12 horror movies out of the how many?
This list could change tomorrow.
Yeah.
But this is just, you know, on the spot right now. These are the 10 with 2 honorable mentions. My first honorable mention, I got to give it up to Jason Goes to Hell. You guys know.
Come on, Ken. It's my birthday.
You know what this movie means to me. You know that I'm such a big fan of this movie. The direction that a 19-year-old first-time director, Adam Marcus, was able to go with what he was given. You know, hey, take that stupid effing hockey mask out of my movie. And he combined the world of Friday the 13th with the Evil Dead world. You have the Necronomicon, you have the Kandarian dagger, you have the Freddy Krueger glove at the end coming up, you have Creighton Duke. And, oh, guys, when you're in that house for the first time and you have Jason pop out of that floor Oh my gosh, I get little emo goosebumps every single time. Jason Goes to Hell had to be on here. And my other honorable mention was so hard to leave off the list because it's such a great movie and it means so much to me and my little sister. And that's Poltergeist 3.
Oh wow.
This may be the horror movie I watched the most as a kid, besides my number one. But this movie was always special to my sister and I. My sister looked just like Carol Ann as a kid. She looked just like Heather O'Rourke. She
Now
had the
your
long...
niece does.
Now my niece looks just like her, and it's insane. But my sister used to have a pair of the red pajamas with the white foots on the bottom, and she looks so much like Carol Ann. And so this movie was so special to me. I'm bummed it didn't make it into the top 10, but I'm confident in where it's at.
Okay. My two honorable mentions. One is Cabin in the Woods. I really enjoyed this movie. We went and seen it in the theater, and I had like zero expectation. It was just like I guess we'll watch that. Thought it was another teenager going in the woods, getting hacked up, and then I was pleasantly surprised at what we got. And then Scream. It came out in a time where it was prior to that, it was kind of weird to be like a horror movie lover as a kid. And then Scream happened in 96, and then everybody loved horror, and it was cool, and you weren't the weird kid anymore.
Yeah.
And just what it did for the horror genre. And
Scream did for horror what Green Day did for punk rock.
yeah.
You know, it made it cool
Yeah.
to like horror.
Not
when
that
came out.
I cared that I was ever cool.
Right.
Because I still kind of feel like I'm the weird one. Even at work, like nobody understands horror. Yeah. Like they're always just like, okay.
But even back then, I was like, yeah, Scream. Yeah, that movie's mainstream. It's mainstream garbage. I'd go home and be like, hey, let's put on Scream.
Yeah.
I was like a closet Scream fan. Like, I can't like that. That's mainstream garbage. God, it's so good though.
It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, good choices.
Thank you.
Zena, did you have some honorable mentions?
Oh gosh, okay. I was hoping you wouldn't pick me. I listen, it was so hard to, come up with this list in the first place. And at first I was gonna do like the old switcheroony and add this one and swipe it out, and I'm so sorry. So honorable mention number 1, Dolls, 1987, nice. Stuart Gordon. It still hurts my heart that I was unable to meet him, RIP, but I just love the movie Dolls so much. It's just something very magical, fairy tale about it. It just has everything that you need. It's to me a very fun movie. Then the other one, this was like a recent watch for me, and I had to like literally dig through everything to try to find this one. It's called All of Them Witches from 1996, and it's about this woman who's in this apartment, and then there's weird stuff that starts to happen throughout the apartment building, but you don't know if it's like a mental thing or if it's actually really happening. So yeah, it's a Mexican film. It's really awesome. So yeah, just gonna leave it there. It just makes me sad that it didn't make the list because I'm very much a witchy woman.
What was that movie called?
All of Them Witches.
All of Them Witches. We'll have to check that out.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm writing that down right now because there's something Ashley loves. It's witches.
Ooh, good take.
Real quick. So I could share this now. I've been wanting to share it for a while. For Ashley's birthday, I was able to get her.
So I have an unhealthy obsession with Hocus Pocus.
And I got her a copy of the script from the original movie, signed by all the cast from the movie.
It's so awesome.
So like
That's so
the actual script from the movie. It comes with a certificate of authenticity, so I knew I wasn't getting ripped off. Good. You got like everybody signed it. I just thought that'd be an amazing gift for her. And I've been wanting to show it off because I was surprised I was able to get it.
Because you usually can't keep a secret.
I actually waited until today, so I was super happy that I was actually able to do that.
That's
so
awesome.
How about you, Kat? Do you have honorable mentions?
I came with a couple of them. One of my honorable mentions is Demons, the 85 film. Yeah. It's just a favorite. Like I literally just watched it the other day. I watched all the shout out to Shudder. Because at one point they had it on the stream for like forever. So
I love that.
In the middle of the night, it's on there. It's not on there anymore, sadly, but the girl Tubi has it. And so
Tubi's got everything now.
Tubi's awesome. I love Tubi.
Me and
Yes.
Tubi are friends in my mind part-time. So that is I fully subscribe to that. And then Inside 2007, amazing holiday film,
It's a
family
family film.
about family togetherness. And
Mhm.
so it's amazing.
I knew you were gonna say that. It's a family film.
It is.
Okay, well that leaves me. But do watch Inside during Christmas with your family. Anyway,
Take your grandma
I
and grandpa there too.
especially your grandma. We love me Ma's here at GTS. This was hard to nail down, but I have to say Host 2020. That's a movie that I watch at least quarterly. Like because it's 50 minutes. Like if I can't find it, I'm someone who will scroll for 45 minutes trying to find something to watch. And especially because on I've seen almost everything they have, except for the things that you a little hesitant about pressing play. You like, am I really going to give them a 90 minutes, especially with commercials? Please, baby. Let me just take this 50 minutes while I close my eyes to the movie that I know is about to be good every time. I'm about to be mad at Gemma every time. And I'm here. Host is and it was effective. It was so effective.
Yeah.
And then also Evil Dead, 1981. I really enjoy Evil Dead. It's not like my favorite franchise, but like it's something about the effects, it's something about the Deadites, it's something about their eyes, it's something about you being in the woods and they're literally singing and levitating. I don't know. If your feet are not touching the ground, like I think this is above my pay grade. Like, yeah, this is above my pay grade. But yeah, definitely Evil Dead.
Nice.
I love that you brought up Host because I feel like that doesn't get enough love. And a lot of people look at it as a short film, and it's not.
No.
That's a feature to me. And they also coined the term twat knot. So I've been rocking that ever since. So
I don't know if that's something to brag about.
And she loves it. Like she totally loves it.
I do.
So real quick before we get to our actual top 10, Impossible. This list took me forever to come up with. I can't speak for everybody, but it took me forever to narrow. I knew 1, 2, and 3. I knew them. They were set.
Yeah, but my
After
1, 2, and 3 could be like interchangeable.
Right.
Honestly, like these 3 I love so much.
1, I think, is the only one for me that's set.
Yeah.
1 is set. I'm confident 2 won't move for a long time, but we'll get there. Thank you very much for the birthday wishes.
Thank you.
Sleepaway Camp and Fright Night is honorable mentions. Both very good.
Ooh, I love Sleepaway Camp.
I fell asleep. Did Ken say Jason Goes to Hell?
Of course he did.
Ken and Jason Goes to Hell versus the world. Jason Goes to Hell, starting the night off right. Yes.
All right. Yeah, fan club. Okay. Jason Goes to Hell.
I love it.
Jason X is that's the one I stand up for.
See, we all have our one. As long as you're here, Scott, we appreciate you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Ring has always been up there. Hey, thank you, Louie. Thank you just for stopping out. We appreciate you.
Louie.
We have a lot of people in the chat tonight, so I won't touch on everybody, but just know we are reading. We do appreciate you guys.
And thank you, everybody, for the
all
happy birthday wishes. You guys are amazing.
Host is such a good call.
Yes, it's so good. And what they were able to do, like especially when it was like the pandemic and just what they were able to pull off was amazing.
And it was still so scary.
I was like, really, how could it be, when they're like we are right now
with the Snapchat filters and stuff that they were able to do.
Like, how's that going to be scary? Like, what are they going to do to entertain us? And I was very pleasantly surprised at what they did.
Very surprised. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to drive. I'll just be listening. We appreciate you listening.
Absolutely.
Some more birthday with Jason X. Yes, Queen.
To each other.
All right, so we will start with our top 10, and that'll be you starting us off, my love.
Okay, so my number 10 is Insidious. And this came again at another time where it's like the haunted house type like horror movies. They were like so saturated in the horror genre. And then they came out with this, and it's like, it's not your house, but it's your kid that's haunted. And they totally like flipped the haunted house genre on its head. And it genuinely had scary moments, and I loved the family. And it came at a time where I was just like, there was nothing great coming out. Yes. Yeah. And it just really like amped my horror like love again. So
one of the best jump scares of all time.
Oh yeah.
So
the magic trick. Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you think that you just had the scare with the thing pointing at Dalton, and then you get that scare afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, like the magician jump scare. So good.
I remember. I think I might have peed a little in the theater when that happened. Like that scared me.
Might have. You asked me to go get you some toilet paper. Clean up on aisle me. So what about you, Zena? What's your number 10?
Well, those who know me should know this, but it is Night of the Demons, 1988.
Yeah.
It's just a staple in my life. I watch it all the time. I love the dance sequence. I love Roger. I am Roger. He is me. It's just so relatable. You know, I've done a lot of dumb things when I was a teenager, and I most likely would have ended up at Whole House for some reason. And then I would have been Roger, throwing myself through windows and stuff, you know? But yeah, it's a good time if you love like classic 80s, if you like the Halloween theme type of movies. There's demons, there's dancing, somebody gets their tongue ripped off. It's just so magical. I just love it so much.
Yeah.
I feel like I talked to you about that movie at one time. That's awesome. I'm glad that made the list.
Yeah.
And I recognize these queens from Evil Tyrone's horror community streams.
Oh, nice.
Love Tyrone.
Yeah.
Love Jaleesa. Glad that you were able to catch them with them because they're all so amazing. And I love when our friends get to work together. So I'm glad that you brought them up because, like I said, Tyrone is very special to both of us.
Yeah.
So
The horror community is just amazing.
Yes.
I love this horror community.
Yes, there are so many amazing people that we just fall in love with every day with someone new. So it's amazing to have all these friends that we have.
Absolutely.
What about you, Kat? What's your number 10?
Okay, so y'all gonna be sick and tired of me because I know that the person was like, how hard is it making these lists? Listen, I had to go in this situation and be like, if I could take 10 movies on an island with me, I look at everyone's eyes. So we're coming in strong because y'all about to find out how much crap I be on. So my number 10 is The Mummy.
Okay.
1, 2, and 3. So if you get like a
wait a minute now, Kat, no, hold on. This is the kind of shit you be pulling. I'm gonna put all 3. They count as one movie, motherfucker. What?
I'm telling you right now, there's a couple entries on this list that roll in this nature. But if I had to choose,
she has the DVD with all of them on it. There you
She
go.
dropped that. She dropped that shit like we weren't gonna hear. It's The Mummy. 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Exactly. Think of it like
movie.
we had a VHS tape and they had a marathon, and we just put them all on one movie.
Recorded them all.
They did used to come on TV. I'm not gonna lie to you because I used to catch them on TV all the time.
They were great. They're great.
I can see the comments that my birthday twin, me and the birthday twin is right here. So I'm just saying it's The Mummy. We love a Brendan Fraser. Like he pops in, although that movie has some problems. It's got some problems. I'm not gonna lie. The DVD is on the shelf.
Mine too. But
It's going
also,
in the vault.
I told you when that came out, people argued that was horror. I was like, it's The Mummy. What are you talking about?
like classic horror.
With those Beatles. Like, come on.
What is it to discuss?
They ripped somebody's eyes out, bro.
Like,
what are you talking
literally.
about?
Emo tap.
Like
He's walking around with no tongue, like
Right.
straight up.
And that guy was on One Life to Live, so you know I was tuned in. So
Of course you know what
I
soap he
love
was
soap.
on.
Yes, right. I sure do.
Oh, I'm so happy you ladies are here tonight. Jazz, you want to give us your number 10?
Okay, guys. So everybody's talking about how I slapped this list together because if I talked about how I scroll things for 45 minutes, it would have took me years. I'm like, this movie. No, today this is the list. All right. So number 10 for me is Night of the Creeps. And it's something that I had watched like one time a couple years ago because it was free. It's usually not streaming for free. But I don't watch. I was like, no, I got to buy the DVD. And when I watched it again, I said, no, I love this movie. I think I'm in love with her. I think I love her like Gucci Mane. Like that's how I felt. Like I was, because it's so quintessential 80s. Like everything you need is in there. It got aliens. It got one-liners. It got action. It got the girls with the poofy dresses. You know, it just has everything I need. And I'm like, I could watch Night of the Creeps at the drop of a dime. Like, thrill me. Like, that's all I got to say. Thrill me. Yeah, number 10, Night of the Creeps.
Nice.
Very fair. I'm not going to go too deep into mine because Ashley already touched on it, but it is The Cabin in the Woods. We were both very surprised by this movie. Like, we went to the cinema and we were like, whatever. Let's just watch this movie. And we came out of it like, we need to watch this again. Like right now, like that's how much we loved it. Sigourney Weaver was amazing. There was just so many great moments throughout this movie that really blew me away and still do. Like this could legitimately talk about how every single horror movie ever has happened. This could be the logical explanation as to why all these horror movies that have happened. And you also get moments like this.
I'm still on speakerphone, aren't I?
Oh my God, Mordecai! I can't believe it. It did it again.
What's not to love? Citizen and Hadley,
They're
they are
so
my spirit
funny.
animals. Like
Yeah.
they're so amazing and so funny. So I got to go with The Cabin in the Woods at number 10. Before we get to Zena's number 9, I saw that Dice came in. Hello, Dice.
Hello, Dice.
Tyler is here. Good evening. This is the best panel. I'm dying over here. I agree. This is awesome. I'm loving this to death. I knew you all would love that Sigourney Love double feature. How you doing, ladies? Nathan's going with the Jeepers Creepers love. Michael's loving the picks. So yeah, thank you guys all for stopping in. We appreciate you so much. For those of you that don't know that are coming in a little bit late, it is Ashley's birthday, so happy birthday to my wife. Zena, would you like to start us off at number 9?
I was going to say no, because I feel like as we keep on going, I'm getting more and more stressed out. But okay. Can you imagine if I said no and I left? No.
I'm like, no, bye.
That's it. I'm done. All I had was number 10.
I had 2 honorable mentions at number 10. That was it.
Okay, so number 9, it's a recent watch for me, and I fell so in love with it, and that's Mute Witness from 1995. Oh my gosh, like I've never heard of this movie before. You know how sometimes like back in the day, like when we were like kids, we would go to a video store. You either see like in the video store, see it streaming, like it was on TV or something. And no, never ever came across it in my life until it just started streaming on Shudder. And when I watched it, it's just like, it's amazing. It's kind of like Popcorn meets Scream, and it's very timeless. I feel like it's super underrated. If you're someone who loves like, slashers, but you also love like films where it's kind of like about a film, you have that. It's funny. I don't know. I just fell in love with it. I just find that I just cannot get enough of it. Like I already bought like 2 copies of the Blu-ray because, I had to buy one for myself, one for my bestie, probably going to buy some more. Just give it to people for Christmas. I feel like everybody needs a copy.
Well, it's funny that because you just brought up Popcorn too, because I just watched Popcorn for the first time a couple months ago. And
What did we watch that for?
And it was either an In Defense of or My First Horror Movie.
Yeah.
And we loved it.
We did. Yeah.
Like we had a lot of fun with Popcorn.
Popcorn is everything.
Yeah, so I got to check this movie out too. Like you're hitting me with a bunch of deep cuts tonight that Ashley and I are gonna have a lot of fun watching on our way on vacation.
Yeah.
Still on Shudder, so check it out.
Yep.
Yes.
We're leaving next week for Kentucky. We're going to Kentucky for a week, taking a week off and just enjoying ourselves. So
Nice.
yeah, now we got some movies to watch on the drive.
Yay.
I don't watch because I'm driving, but Ashley will watch and tell me what's happening. Kat, do you want to give us your number 9?
Yes, my number 9 is Blackula, the 1972 film. I'm not going to squeeze Scream Blackula Scream on there, but you already know because I didn't have to say it out loud. But like Blackula was life changing. If you have not seen Blackula, a bunch of all the other movies were eventually always thrown in your face. It's a damn good time. I actually cried while watching it. Like every time, like I've always had like a different emotion every time I watch the movie. A lot of anger, a lot of happiness seeing queer folks on TV, a lot of anger. It's just sad because they played in Mama Waldy's face like that. Like I'm just not a fan, so that actually upset me. Like I don't know if they were meant for me to cry, but I get emotional.
Yeah.
See, and what I love about that is the worst thing about that movie to me is the title, because much like a movie that'll be coming up soon on my list that we'll talk about, I feel like people hear Blackula and they feel like it's a spoof.
Yeah.
It's like the airplane of Dracula, and it really isn't. Like it's got a that blaxploitation, and a lot of what they do in this movie is so real.
Yes.
Because I had never seen blaxploitation films at all growing up in the most conservative part of Southeast Michigan.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a lot of need or, for that here, unfortunately. And, the older I got and the more I was able to get into this community, I started watching a lot of things like, especially with like Blackula, and getting that feeling of just overwhelming sadness that I had missed out on all this growing up that could have helped me a little bit in my own education and how I felt about things. So I'm really glad that you brought that up. And for those of you that haven't seen Blackula, it is not a spoof movie. I know the name would lead you to believe it's a spoof. It really is a deep movie with a lot of undertones to it that you will very much like if you like to be, I don't want to say politicized in your horror, but if you want a horror movie with a message that will make, and like you said, the queer representation, they were doing things back then that people would call woke today.
God.
So
That word.
yeah, I know. I hate that. Everybody knows who knows. I hate that fucking word.
Yeah.
But definitely check that out, guys. If you haven't already, definitely worth it. Jazz, what's your number 9?
Okay, so for me, my number 9 is Terrified. Y'all hear me recommend this all the time. Aterrados. I love Spanish language horror in general because it's my second language and I'm always looking to practice or listen. But that movie's just fucking scary. It's just scary, guys. It's just it scared me as a grown up, and those are rare to find because I've been watching horror since a young time. Okay, so intestines are like a Tuesday for me. So this, like they were inventive. All it takes is a little creativity and timing, really for a scare. It doesn't need to be expensive. It doesn't need, they made a glass of milk scary. And I'm never going to forget that glass of milk. And I'm like, that wasn't expensive. A glass, you could have knocked 18 glasses of milk over. You know how many takes they could have done of that. Granted, that makeup probably was a lot of money. But I'm like, no, you're making things scary that were never scary before. So if you want a good scare on Friday night, turn your lights off about 11 p.m., turn everything off, watch Aterrados on like not top volume and piss your neighbors off, but like loud enough that when the sound hits, you gonna jump. Like that's definitely something to watch for a good scare.
And especially you're talking about the milk scene, you're like, but they're dead. What's going on?
Yeah.
That boy.
I'm not gonna spoil anything. I want everybody to watch it. Yep. No, you
Terrified is another one of those movies that even just the cover art, that you're like, I have to watch this.
I don't know what that is. Still, I don't
know
what
what
that is.
does. That's the
I'm scared of it. I'm scared.
Number 9 for me is a movie that as a kid scared me so bad, and we've talked about it before. It's Candyman. And the part where the little boy gets his penis cut off in the bathroom and you just see the aftermath of it and they're talking about it. That scene scared me so bad as a kid. And then now as an adult, having, talked to Tony Todd and the much respect I have for him and seeing he's the Bruce the Shark of this movie. It's the less is more appeal with Tony Todd. And he's just perfect. Like if somebody were to ever narrate my life, I would want it to be
smooth voice.
If there's ever a book written about me with somebody, doing a book reading of it, please, Tony Todd, an audio book. I would hope it was you.
Yeah,
it was always you, Tony. It was always you. So, Candyman at number 9 for me. What about you? Zena started this, so it is you.
It is. Yep. My number 9 is Dead Silence. I feel like this is such an underrated movie. Like nobody ever talks about this movie. And it literally scared the shit out of me when we watched it. We were like house sitting and I was still in high school, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And we were house sitting for Ken's dad. And literally
we just rented this movie.
We rented it and it scared me to the point where after it was over, we had to play
the South Park
video game just to like get my mind off of it.
Decompress. Yeah, we played the South Park video game for Nintendo 64, and like peeing on the snowballs.
I feel like nobody.
I remember that.
Yes.
Yes, and it's just the unfortunate thing is Dead Silence came out so close to the Saw films, that people
and everyone just thought it was like the slappy puppet, and that's all that the
that it was a possessed doll movie.
It wasn't. It was so much more, and I think Mary Shaw is terrifying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beware
and the sound design. The sound design was amazing. Saw it in theaters. Like, and how old was I? When did it come out? 07? What did this come out like 07 or something like that? Like
06, 07.
I was a teenager.
Yeah, I was still.
Yeah, it was right after school. It had to be end of 05, beginning of 06, because it was right in between Saw 2 and Saw 3.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I was a teenager watching this in theaters, and let me tell y'all something. There's a scene where there's like I don't know if there's some kind of light showing through the window, and that's where everything gets real quiet. That's where my heart dropped. I was like, oh no, I think I signed up for the wrong thing. I think I'm trying to go home. And I was like, my mama already dropped me off. Oh no.
And the good thing about that movie is, like I said, it really is not a possessed doll movie. Like people go into this thinking it's a Chucky or dolls or something like that, but it's
No.
not.
It's just
Yeah.
that Slappy doll from Goosebumps is what everybody.
And they overplayed it in the trailer.
Yeah.
They made it seem like it was a possessed doll running around. And I still love Donnie Wahlberg. Like when he has the puppet,
he's like shaving.
he's like, let me have him ask you, why did you bury me, Jamie?
Yeah.
And like that part just makes me laugh every time we watch this movie. It's such a fantastic watch. Great choice, babe.
Yeah, really good choice. I mean, it's kind of a shame we didn't get like a sequel or
I
spin-off.
know.
Would love it.
Please.
Would
need it.
love
We
it.
can find
Yeah.
Because the way I was looking at it is, what if like if Donnie Wahlberg, his detective, like
Mhm.
he dies, so what if his family comes looking for him? So now there's more people in Raven's Fair
Mhm.
that have to be taken care of. This sequel could write itself.
Or maybe there was like one of the Asher families that she didn't
get.
Yeah, that
The
was
dad
like
had a brother and they had
adopted
kids.
out or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you could
Something
easily
you could
build the story
definitely-
of Mary
yes,
Shaw.
You definitely
Yeah.
could.
But
Some
again,
more
if they
Paula
didn't,
James
it's a
Wan.
perfect standalone.
Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
So I'm happy either way. Watching
get me
movies in the
started.
car is dedication. I really don't watch movies in the car. I listen. I got kids. I'm way too scared to hurt them.
Especially on the freeway.
Yeah. A movie that's quickly shot up. I have not seen Totally
Yes.
Killer yet.
Watch Totally Killer.
It's
Oh
so
my
fun.
god, it's so much fun.
Really?
We're gonna have to check it out.
Yeah.
'Cause I know that Dead Meat just did a kill count on it, and
Yeah.
I haven't watched it because I haven't seen the
Oh,
film.
yeah. I know that looks like it's a lot of fun.
People tell me it's like
Fun.
Back to the Future meets Scream.
We have to check it out.
Yes,
Johnny,
that is a
sort of, yeah.
very fair description of it, and we got to see
Back
it on
to the
big
Future is
screen.
my favorite movie of all time.
Mhm.
Like that's my absolute favorite movie.
Oh, you need
So
to run, don't walk.
I need to. We need to watch this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Cody, watch Terrified. It is on Shudder. Do it. Pull the trigger.
Yes.
Watch the movie. I
Right
promise you
now.
will love it.
Mhm.
I'll break the law for Candyman. Agreed. Paranormal Activity. A lot of people
Uh-huh.
got by that one. Dead Silence scared the heck out of me.
Mhm.
I enjoyed Tony Todd as Candyman. I love him as Mr. Bloodsworth in Final Destination. He's
Oh,
so
yeah.
good.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you sure do know a lot, Mr. Guy. She had no children, only dolls. That's right.
Yep.
That damn scene with the clown doll when she comes out and grabs the clown doll. Oh, Juan's most underrated movie. Dead
Mhm.
Silence. God, it's so good to see you guys liking this.
I know.
All right, Nathan. Yeah, we'll have to do like a virtual watch, Nathan, so we can watch it together. Beware the Stare, Mary Shaw, baby. Totally Killer's a fun one. Okay, we're doing it. We're
We
watching
have
it.
to.
Well, we got to watch all of them witches and Totally Killer this weekend. So it's gonna
You won't
happen.
regret
We'll let
it.
you guys know.
Mhm.
All right, so now we're up to number 8, and that will be Kat starting us off.
Well. My number 8 is Martyrs 2008 because
Mm.
duh. And that's pretty much it. Yes, everyone's eyes have opened up wide. Good morning. We are
Wow.
here. I saw Martyrs shortly before I saw a Serbian film. So clearly during this time, around 2008, I was making choices. I think it was 08, 09. I was
Mhm.
making choices. Shout out to my friends on the internet. They were like, girl, you should just check this movie out. I know you like scary movies. You should watch it. And around this time, like, I wasn't really like, into the horror community. It's just like friends, because who is really watching these kind of movies? Like, you probably know that one friend that's like, I've seen all the horror movies and it's just not getting me like the other girls. And I'm like, you right, friend. That's what we got to do. And so they said you should watch Martyrs.
More,
And I said,
more
okay.
family films to watch with grandma.
There you go.
Exactly.
Okay,
Actually, if I
I
showed
don't
my
know.
grandma this movie, she would probably really never talk to me again. But
Yeah.
but yeah,
Grandma Jean
Martyrs
not
is that
having
girl.
it. Grandma Jean
Well,
gonna
your
give me a
grandma would jump
whooping.
us.
I'm sorry. Like, she was looking through her fingers for Salem's Lot. Like, I think we can draw the line at a certain
Yeah.
point for Meemaw. She'll watch a
Yeah.
scary movie with me, but certain stuff she'll be like, "Now, what's all this? What you into?" She gonna start praying over me, and I don't know. Guys.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, Martyrs is definitely not for Granny. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. So, how about you, Jazz? What's
All
your
right.
number 8?
So my number 8 is The Invisible Man, 1931, 33, one of those.
God, are you me?
Are we the same person?
I
Okay.
was like,
Okay, so when it comes to Universal Monsters, The Invisible Man is my favorite one because he is a comedian. Have y'all seen him? He just does the most every time. And it just, before I watched The Invisible Man, I didn't think it was gonna be a funny movie. You know, I thought horror comedies were a new thing. No, horror comedies were pretty much in vain. Like, as soon as they started making them scary movies, they started sprinkling the funnies inside of them, and I was like, oh, he pushed a baby. Y'all gotta get him out of here. I love that movie. They will grovel at my feet. And then the glasses and the coat. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to cosplay him one time. I just love Mad Science. Also,
he was a madman. Yeah.
I just read this thing that was like, if I could be any supervillain, I would be the Invisible Man, and I would go to Paris and I would fight a mime, so he would get so much money.
Because he's fighting for his life. He's not acting. Oh my god!
Thinking about Eurotrip.
That's
the mime battle in
the
Eurotrip.
Best thing I've ever read. Like that gave me a belly laugh. I just picture mine like, what the hell's happening? So my number 8, I'm going to piggyback off of Evil Dead, and I'm going to go with Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn.
That's my number 8 too.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well, let's just talk about it together
then.
Okay. This movie is so special. The first any type of iteration of film I ever created was an Evil Dead 2 fan film that happened 30 years after the events of Evil Dead, because in the Evil Dead 2 film, we never see what happened to Professor Novi.
Yeah.
We saw what happened to Henrietta. We saw what happened to everybody else. We never actually saw what happened to Professor Novi. So what if Professor Novi survived? You know, what if by some chance he did survive? I know that you see him as an apparition, but either way, let's just say that they had another child that was out there. And that child grew up to become a professor as well. And that child, 30 years later, was another Professor Novi that was looking for the other volumes of the Necronomicon to try to finally get rid of the spell. So in this fan film, Ash never came back from the past. He stayed back there, had a family, did his thing. And the Professor Novi of the future tried to find the other volumes of the Necronomicon so he could finally put an end to the curse. Because as we all know, in the mythos, there's 5 volumes of the Necronomicon. So he was trying to complete the set. You know, he was trying to get the box set. Couldn't find it online, so he had to go looking for it himself. And that was the first fan film I ever made because Evil Dead 2 meant so much to us growing up. Like, that movie showed me that you could have a real horror movie with one person as your lead. Just doing so damn much.
I love Ash in Evil Dead 2 more than I did in Evil Dead. Like, I feel like that's where he really like blossomed in the Ash that we all love nowadays. So
he was definitely kind of a pansy in Evil Dead.
Yeah, he just kind of like let his friends die and didn't really help him out in the first one. But in this one, he kind of got his wits about him and stood up for himself a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Evil Dead 2
cut his own hand off.
Yeah, for us, I believe I can't speak for you, but for me, that's my favorite Evil Dead film.
I don't know anymore. It's kind of like a tie between that and 2013. Like, I love 2013 too.
Fair. Okay. And that's my second favorite. Yeah. It's like Evil Dead 2, Evil Dead 2013, right below it. That movie's so amazing. So yeah, Evil Dead 2 is for Ashley and I both at number 8. So Zena, do you want to give us your number 8?
I'm gonna go with Come True from 2020. It's like this sci-fi horror, and the director is it Anthony Scott Burns. He did the segment in Holidays, the Father's Day one, which really creeped me out. And he does a lot of things, like he edits, he films, he does sign designs, is it, or sound design? I said sign. Oh my gosh, sound designs, and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like this movie feels very like Cronenberg meets Lynch, type of vibes going on. There's like these nightmarish like visions. There's a lot of blue tint. Like, I love the way it's filmed, and it's very refreshing. Like, you've seen some stuff before that's in it, but it's just one of those movies that's like very cozy. If you're having like a down day, you could just pop that in and makes your day all better.
Yeah.
And again, I like that we have some new and some old movies on this list. Like, we got some new classics, some old classics. And that's going to continue here in a little bit. But I saw Nick came in. Hello, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
I'm a basic bitch with my top 10. You're my basic bitch, Cody. Okay? And I will take it. I love you. 2013 is my number 1. Evil Dead 2 gives it a run for its money. I love that. There was something else. Mine got an early retirement coming.
Oh,
All right, so now
Poor mine.
we're up to number 7, and that'll be Jazz starting us off.
all right, guys. Well, I'm in here with y'all knew this was making the list. Hell House LLC.
We
up
are the
here.
same person.
Is this really our same number?
I just threw a piece of paper aggressively. This is my number 7.
You guys just wanna talk about it together?
Well. Let's
How
go
the
ahead and chat it
turntables-
up
Oh, true
about
that.
our favorite movie. One of our
Where
faves.
do you
This is a
begin?
movie that Kat showed me. Like, I don't know if Kat just watched this check and was like, "Yeah, you gotta see this." And I'm like, sitting at the foot of her bed watching this movie, and there's a clown. If you have not seen this movie, this is the scariest clown like since Pennywise. Like, Pennywise was scary because he got powers. This clown also has powers, and I'm sorry, I'm a little more scared because you mess around, tell some jokes, or you show you that you're not afraid of the other clown. You're not afraid of Pennywise. You might be Gucci. This clown don't give a fuck if you're scared or not. He don't care. Okay, it doesn't matter what jokes you tell him. You know what your fate is if you are face to face with him. So I just feel as though this movie is scary every time. I love found footage. It makes it, again, it's creative where it crafts scares that are not expensive. But again, with timing, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We just got to make it turn efficiently so we can get to our destination. That's it.
I'm obsessed with this movie and this franchise. I follow this film franchise and the people on Facebook. And I don't even be on Facebook. Like, I don't even have a Facebook app. For me to even say that sentence, like, I know the girls be on Facebook, and that's cool. I'm not the girls, but I follow this group because I want to know what's going on with Hell House LLC. We went to Midsummer Scream. They had a booth. I immediately went to the table and said, y'all need to tell me what's on them tapes in that basement, baby, because I need to know right now. Yeah. And then, of course, they gave us a sequel with the clown. I'm listening, but you can check me in the comments on their most recent post.
Abbott on tapes.
Because I want to know what's on the tapes. Also, I have a birthday coming up, and this is me sharing with y'all. They just dropped a box set with all the movies. Okay. And so I have a birthday coming up. The movie is iconic. It is a simple found footage dream. She does what she needs to do. After movie 3, we just stare into the wind, but we back in movie 4, baby. Like, we back up in the Carmichael Manor. So Hell House LLC. You ain't never seen this movie? Tubi.
Loved Carmichael Manor. Carmichael Manor shocked me with how much I liked that movie. The laptop scene, like when you get the scene, that's the first time in a long time where I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
I couldn't look at it with my eyes. I had to turn around. I had to listen.
That was Raymond's right. They fucking moved.
They did, bro. Fast. Talk about they ain't moved. Yes, they did. Trying to argue.
What's up, love?
Hi.
Anthony and Bobby are both here.
Hey.
Hey, cousins.
Oh yeah, you gotta check out watch 1, 2, and Carmichael Manor. 3 is it's not terrible, but
a movie.
It's my least favorite of the bunch.
I would still watch it because there are some scares, but it's not nearly as good as 1 or Carmichael Manor.
There's definitely worse movies out there than Hell House 3.
Yes. Yes.
So my number 7 is Child's Play 3.
Wow.
I thought this was going to be a lot higher when I started making this list. This is my favorite Child's Play movie. Obviously, Child's Play is my favorite franchise, but I couldn't put it above. If this list would have been made 5 years ago, this would be in the top 3. But as I've gotten older and I get scared for different reasons and I get entertained for different reasons, maybe a couple of the movies above this have recency bias. But Child's Play 3 is just one of the movies that I think is funny. It's scary. It's got some genuine sad deaths in it, like the garbage truck guy, Whitehurst when he throws himself on the grenade. Like there's genuine sad moments, really funny moments. I love this movie, and it's kind of like that Jason Goes to Hell thing where this movie is just so special to me because the time. This was the first Child's Play movie I had ever seen, and so like I watched this one, then I went back the next day and watched 1 and 2, and I was still like, nah, 3's where it's at.
Okay.
Andy with a gun is my Andy, So huge fan of the movie, huge fan of the franchise, but again, if it's your 7th favorite movie, it's still pretty good because I've seen a couple movies, but Child's Play 3 still up there. So That's number 7 for me. What about
Nice.
you, Love?
My number 7 is Summer of '84. I had so much
What
fun
is it?
with this Summer of '84.
Never heard
You
of it.
never heard of it, right?
Never heard of it.
It's
Wow.
Yeah.
wonderful. It's up on your list, isn't it?
Nope, never heard of it.
Okay. Anyways, I love this movie just because it feels so nostalgic, like when you were a kid and you could be out all summer and play hide and seek and not have to worry about adult type things. And I don't know, it just reminded me of being a kid, but also
Because you're old.
yeah, I am old. Today I'm old, but also like imagine being a kid like watching a serial killer. Like
Right.
that would be.
What's the movie called again?
Oh, stop! You know what the movie is. It's crazy. This movie, just the way you feel the entire time, like, is what he's seeing real? Like, what's really going on here? And it's,
Now, I can't say because I don't. I don't
Okay.
think I've seen the movie, but word on the street is it has a crazy ending. Is that true?
it does have a crazy. The ending is sad. Like, I didn't think they were gonna go there, but they went there. So yeah,
So I mean, that's word on the street. You know, hopefully I'll be able to check that movie out someday.
maybe.
But
if you're cool.
what about you, Zena? If you're cool, what's your number 7?
Number 7 is Tourist Trap from 1979.
Yes.
I love creepy mannequins. I love the soundtrack. When I heard that they're remaking it, I'm open to it. You know, yeah, they're remaking it.
Jail.
Or a
Barbara
sequel.
Crampton's doing it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Never mind. We're back out. We're free.
Yep, Barbara Crampton's the one
Yeah.
doing it. I heard they were remaking Tourist Trap, and I was like, oh no. They're like, and
That's-
Barbara Crampton's doing it. I was like, I'm listening.
Yeah.
yeah. And I don't know. I just feel like it's a 70s slasher, but it's supernatural, you know. And again, like I keep on
Mhm.
going back to it. The soundtrack is just
Yes.
so creepy. I love it so much.
Yeah. Why don't you like me?
Why don't you like
He's
me?
so creepy.
Mm-mm.
So creepy.
It's so. Here's I didn't want to hurt my brother. Like that guy. sounds
Yes,
bad.
you did. Yes, you did.
Oh,
You lied.
oh, Mr. Slauson.
Yeah.
Do we still have him up here? I think he's downstairs, isn't
Oh.
he?
I have Mrs.
But
Lawson
I
on my
love
shelf.
I took
You do?
We
I'm
have
jealous.
a patch, a Mr. Slauson patch. When we first started doing the channel, one of our
All I got
hate
is
saying- I
ash.
hate saying hey, I hate saying fans because that's such a weird thing for me to say. But somebody that was interested in the channel was like, "I heard you like Tourist Trap," and I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, what's your mailing address?" And they sent us a Tourist Trap pouch, and it's Mr. Slauson's Oasis, and it's got him on it. Yeah, and it's so
It's
dope. I was like,
awesome.
"Oh, dude, this is so sick! Thank you so much."
Mhm.
Yeah, but Tourist Trap is so good. So
Mhm.
thank you for talking about that, Zena. If you guys haven't seen it, you gotta check it out. It's on the sister channel Tubi. I mean, you know how we feel about that. So I'm seeing a lot of love for this. I agree with you, visitor. I gotta see the Summer of '84 movie. It left Michael feeling uneasy.
It is. It's
Love
definitely,
Summer of '84.
especially when he's like looking with his binoculars, and then all of a sudden you see him up in the window. I'm like,
Oh,
like,
that sounds creepy.
shut up! You're so
Um,
ridiculous.
Summer of '84 is a lot of fun. Stranger Things and Stand By Me vibes. I like both of those. So
Yeah.
I gotta watch this movie.
You're such a liar. We watched it together.
I don't believe you. I hope you're all having a great day.
Aw.
We just did a review on it.
I know.
Great Pigs, Tourist Trap Ruse. Yes, it is so heartbreaking. I love this. Cat's head just did a 360. We heard Tourist Trap. Tourist Trap is wild. Seen it for the first time a couple months ago.
Mhm.
You're
Mhm.
not getting away with this, mister. I love it. So now we are up to number 6. That'll be me starting us off. You talked earlier about being like the thinking of being desensitized to horror, and then a movie comes out that gets you. That was this movie for me. I don't think it's any secret how much I loved this movie, and that is 2020's The Dark and the Wicked.
Ooh.
This
Okay.
movie, after
That's good.
seeing it, this movie, I watched it.
Speaking of feeling uneasy the entire time.
Yeah, I watched this movie shortly after my mother's death, and so I think that's another reason it affected me the way it did. And then I was able to have Julie, who played the mother in this movie, on the podcast, and she was telling us about how they did some of the practical effects, and like the scene of her floating was literally all done practically
She was on
with
crates,
milk
right?
crates.
She did the
you know.
milk crate challenge.
Yeah, it was just her with milk crates is how they did, and fans. It's how they did that floating scene, and it's brilliant. Like it's so brilliant the way they did this. And Brian Bertino, who did the first Strangers movie, also did The Dark and the Wicked, and you can feel that same type of tension and terror throughout the whole movie. And I just remember watching this and being so scared at like 3 p.m. Like, this movie is terrifying. It's scary. And I love it so much.
And there's not like a lot of jump scares or anything.
Which I hate.
Yeah.
I hate jump scares.
But
So
I'm
it was
just saying, like, it can still scare you.
this is one of those movies where you're begging for a jump scare.
Yeah.
You're like, please do something to break this tension. Please, I'm begging you. So yeah, number 6 for me, a movie I just adore, and that is The Dark and the Wicked.
Nice.
What about you, my love?
My number 6 you have already mentioned. It was one of your honorable mentions, and it is not Jason Goes to Hell because it is Poltergeist 3.
Okay.
Again, this is a movie that I watched a lot as a kid. It was the one that I watched more than any of the other Poltergeists. Go ahead and
No. Go ahead.
You're gonna cancel me? No. Okay. And it gets a lot of hate because of the ending, and we talked about it a million times on this channel about Heather O'Rourke and her absolute
medical misdiagnosis.
Yeah, it's just heartbreaking what happened to this young lady. And so they didn't really end it the way they should have or wanted to, but they had to end the movie. And so it gets a lot of poo for that. But the rest of the movie, just like how they use mirrors, and I think it's creepy when you're like looking in a mirror and then you're doing something else. Like that kind of stuff scares me.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it's the nostalgia of it, but I love this movie.
One thing I can say now as an adult that made me laugh really hard when we watched this movie the last time, Aunt Pat played Chris in Carrie.
Yeah.
She played the bully in Carrie.
She was the mean girl.
Well, when the uncle is talking to her, he's like, "You're treating her like she's Carrie or something like that."
Yeah.
And I thought that was so funny that they brought that line up. And I do got to say, whenever people start talking about Jason Goes to Hell, I feel like I'm going to walk into the chat like this.
I'm so sorry.
Not ashtray. I'm in here hollering.
Please.
I fucking love Don't Be a Menace. Like,
Okay.
You're a funny guy.
what are you doing? Trying to win Best Actor on the Soul Train Awards? See, and it's stuff like this right here, this is just unnecessary. Wrong and unnecessary. Churlish and deceitful. Yeah, I do got to say yes. Rest in peace, Donald Sutherland. I hope to accomplish a quarter of what he did in my lifetime. So thank you, Donald, for all the great memories you gave us. You threw a knife at Buffy's head. So thank you, sir, so much. Sorry, I'm all messed up. We are actually up to Zena on her number 6.
Gosh, it's just going by so fast. I'm getting nervous for some reason. So, okay, I try to like round out my list, like spread it out, like something for everyone, international and all that other stuff. So I'm going to go with the German horror, The Fan from 1982. So this one is about this teenage girl who pretty much lives in a fantasy world. And I kind of relate. Back when I was a teenager, I had a thing for Ludacris. Don't judge me. And so, I mean, I would have never did all what she did. Like, I was obsessed, but not like her, okay? And yeah, she doesn't want to go to school. She doesn't want to really do anything. All she does all day is listen to this guy's, like, he's a pop star. His name is R. She listens to his music all day and she writes him letters. And when he doesn't respond, she gets mad. So she shows up at the studio, like, what's up, right? And for some reason, I mean, she's cute. He likes her. And then they go off somewhere, but something happens. And it was just very shocking to watch. The ending still just makes me like uncomfortable, but where it's just like, what? Like, it's so hard to explain. Like, I want to tell you the ending, but I feel like everyone should enjoy this movie and see what happens. And you think back to the days where when you were 16 or 17 and you might have had a crush on Ludacris. Okay. Would you do? I would never. But yeah, it's a good time.
So I gotta ask, did she take him to the back seat with the windows up?
No.
Okay, that's all. That's all I needed to know.
You're ridiculous.
That's the only ludicrous line I know.
Backseat windows.
Well, he emphasized that line, so you know.
So what about you, Kat? What's your number 6?
My number 6, well, you guys have already started talking about the icon that is James Wan. So I figured I would just throw another one in there. It's the girl Saw. Saw, it's really the whole Saw franchise, because I know I'm single-handedly one of the top funders. You know how you be on somebody's page posting so much, and they're like, you the top contributor. It's me. I'm here. And so I'm always wondering, I'm hoping somebody knows James Wan in the cut. I am fully immersed in the James Wan universe. I don't even know if they have a universe in their brain, but I've done the work for them. And so it just Saw was just iconic. I saw Saw in the movie theaters like most of the people. It really floored me like most of the girls. Like, cause I don't really like going to the movies like that, but I do. This is not like an Alamo movie theater. So I was like, oh, what the like this? And it's just such a like, you was for real the whole time. And then when you think about like that movie, and not going too far for the girlies who have not, gone that far or that evolved in the Saw franchise, the fact that Amanda really had the girls like, starting in 4th place from. It's crazy. If you want to talk Saw, it's me. I'm here to give you literally a 3-hour conversation of my life because I'm ready.
Well, let me ask then, which in the franchise is your favorite?
How much time do you have? So everyone has a different moment. So I'm definitely a Detective Matthews stan. I want to know like the Matthews. Like I literally pretend that I'm everyone in Saw, and Jack is laughing because
I've seen this.
Game over. Like I just start yelling and closing doors. 2, because
we all sing in the shower, and Kat Saw's in the shower. She's in the shower like, game over.
Yes. That actually it.
Your son is in a safe place.
Yeah. Then she starts singing the 21 Savage song. Yes. That's her.
And then I start coming out dancing. Like, yes. And I know the girls were upset about Spiral, and that's okay. People can have their comments. It's just don't open the door. And then we all pop it at the end. It's just everything. What was it? And I'm a fan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, how can you hate this?
But he didn't get it. I ain't seen no sequel. Where's Gump 2?
You can't.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
Great grandma.
I just gotta say, Saw 3 is my baby. Like that's my favorite.
We see.
I absolutely love it.
Yes.
So how about you, Jazz? What's your number 6?
All right, guys. My number 6, The Thing, 1982. I think it's 1982. One of them years in the 80s. Listen, I love some gooey ass body horror. Okay, so when you got things sprouting and growing heads, that's like peak me. It's sci-fi, it's aliens, body horror, mystery, action too. Trust no one type thing. It's really a good time. I love The Thing. And then also, Keith David's in here. Like, excuse me. There's not several black characters. There's 2 black characters, which was a lot more than usual for the 80s. So I was like, all right, yeah. The Thing is just, it slaps. I really can't say enough good things about it, and the score.
It's
scary.
So amazing. I absolutely love The Thing. I will, spoiler alert, it didn't make my list.
Yeah.
But if we were doing a list of the best horror movies of all time, it would be in the top 3. It may even be at number 1. But we're just talking about our personal favorites. The way I look at this list, what movies have I watched the most?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the way that I did my list.
I think the blood test like that.
Yeah. Amazing.
Had me on the edge of my seat the entire time.
So T. Parker says, I agree with Justin. Halloween 6 is better than Jason Goes to Hell. If we ever meet T. Parker, it's going to go something like this.
Hey, Uncle Kevin. Do you think I'm pretty?
No.
It's going to go just
That
like
is
that.
so rude. Wait a minute.
I know.
It's the longest I've
Parker
seen-
is going to be Uncle Kevin.
So for those of you that have never seen Little Giants, in the actual scene, she says, "Do you think I'm pretty?" He says, "No, I think you're beautiful." And then he walks
just
out.
takes
Yeah.
that part.
I just cut out that. I think you're beautiful
You're
out
a
there.
monster.
I thought that was funnier. So that what have we learned, T. Parker? What have we learned?
He doesn't think you're beautiful.
Yeah, you gotta love the Little Giants. Coach O'Shea, baby. Saw 10, 2, and 3 are my favorites. I'm an Amanda fan. I'm with you, T. Parker.
Amanda and that haircut.
Yeah.
Gotta love
Yeah.
that.
So we are at the halfway point of the list. We're up to number 5, and that'll be you starting us off, my love.
All right, my number 5 is Bride of Chucky. I love this movie. I love that he finally gets a bride. I love that they add Jennifer Tilly. I think that she definitely adds a lot to the series and to all the other movies. I love her so much. And just the two of them together, how they go back and forth and bicker, and it's fun. It's got its funny moments. And I think Jennifer Tilly has a lot of the good kills in this movie.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just a good time, and it's my favorite in the franchise.
One of my bucket list things is to play poker with Jennifer Tilly. Jennifer Tilly
She
is
would probably kick your
she's a
ass.
huge Texas Hold'em player.
Yeah.
She's a really, really, really good Texas Hold'em player. I've watched her play many tournaments, and I just really, it's one of my bucket list things is to have a poker game against her.
I
'cause
love how they
poker.
added that to the TV series.
To the TV series,
Yeah, like
yeah.
how they showed like the real her and how she loves poker and stuff.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And I'm a huge poker fan as well.
Yeah.
That's one thing about me. Not a lot of people know. I'm a huge Texas Hold'em fan. I've played in a couple different tournaments. I love to play. It's just something that's always been very special to me because of my grandfather. My grandfather is a damn good poker player, and I wish I could beat him. I've never beat that man ever, and it pisses me off to no end. But we're not here to talk about poker. We're here to talk about Zena's 5th favorite scary movie. So, Zena, what's number 5 for you?
Number 5 is going to be The Autopsy of Jane Doe from 2006.
Yes.
Yeah,
You gotta
this-
let that sunshine in, Zena.
oh my gosh, this one is so creepy to me. And I remember when I first watched it, like I was working my corporate job, and it was just right after Christmas, and no one else was there, and I was huddled up in my sad little cubicle watching it alone in the dark, because I didn't want anybody to come in here, and yeah, I was so it was like 3 PM, but it creeped me out so bad. I love the mystery to it. I love how they don't really hold the viewer's hand. You just go in and you watch it, and every single time I rewatch it, I find that there's something new that I missed each time.
Well, do you know that they never use a dummy in that movie? That
Yeah,
it's always her. And
isn't
part
it
of
like
part of the contract, part of her getting the role was she had to grow pubic hair. So that way they did not get an NC-17 rating. That's why that was part of the deal of her getting the film.
She's like, sign here, must have bush.
That might, all right, legs are good. Legs are good. Oh, all right.
just get her a fake one. Just slap something.
Right.
Slap some hair on there. Yeah.
But again, that movie is one of those movies that is so horrifying.
Yes.
Because, like you said, you never know what the hell is really going on. And I love everything about this film. Fantastic.
I
film.
want like a prequel to this. Like, I want to know like her backstory.
Yeah.
Like,
You could even, we just did that on the top 10 prequels we'd like to see. You could do this and make it a surprise prequel at the end.
Yeah.
It could just be a
maybe
witch
like a
movie.
witch movie, and
you
like
know.
yeah.
And you don't even have to, because you could even give her a name at that point.
Mhm.
And you never know until the end of the movie when she's dug up out of that basement. That's how the movie ends. Like I think it could be an amazing prequel, and you don't have to tell people it's a prequel.
Right.
It just all of a sudden at the end, just be like, oh shit, like that. I think that would be an amazing thing to do. So great choice on that, Zena, because I love that movie. And that "Let the Sunshine In" song is so fucking creepy. Like when you hear it in that movie, you're like, no, I'm good. Sunshine can stay right out. That's fine. I'm good with it. So how about you, Kat? What's your halfway point?
That is a damn good choice. Mine is a movie that I will play into the end of time. This is one of my Happy Hut movies. It is Resident Evil 2002. Once again, really the entire franchise, but definitely the 2002 movie. I don't know. I feel like I've been using the movie to practice my UK accent. So I'd be like, you're all gonna die down here. That's all I have. So I know if I see a little girl in a little, so I'm like, we about to die, dog. It's over.
Thank you. I've been working on it, girl. Wait till I get to the UK for real. I'm about to be out there music.
Don't worry, guys. I speak your language. You're all going to die down here.
Yeah, I recommend. Well, this is not horror, but if you want to work on like your UK accent, Top Boy. Top Boy is everything. It helped me, but for some reason I can't. I do it too high. I won't do it here, but I do it too high.
That's
Yeah,
you right. You want something. That's what the girlies keep telling me. So
Mhm.
between that and skins, like I'm gonna get it together. So
Mhm.
we're here. I'm just, in my mind, everyone in the UK is living a skins life anyway. So Resident Evil is lit. We're talking about apocalypse. We're talking about zombies. There's a lot of zombie movies on my list because that's my
Of
bag.
course.
We're
Yeah.
dead. We're back.
That's awesome.
That is.
So, what about you, Jazz?
All right, guys. Child's Play 2. That is my favorite out of the
Nice.
franchise. It's the third act for me. It's the third act. And that the chaos and the unhinged Charles,
Mhm.
once he realized he can't Dewey Dumbledore his way out of this and it don't work. And he's like, oh, I waited too late. It's something in his eyes that changed when he started chasing him around that factory once he ain't got nothing to lose. He's sticking like knives in his hand, like he don't care about nothing. So I just really love unhinged Charles Lee Ray. And now, of course, I love all Chucky movies. Like there are no bad Chucky movies to me,
No.
but 2 is my fave. Yeah.
Nice.
Which again, there's like you said, there's really no
Yeah.
bad Child's Play movie. They're all
Mhm.
great. So
Yeah. I mean, they're all entertaining, if nothing else. Like, yeah.
number 5 for me is a movie that makes me laugh. It's a movie that genuinely makes me cry. It's a movie that I feel, we talked earlier about Blackula and how it was ruined by its title. This is a movie I feel was ruined by its title. I think it's scary. You want to tell?
No, you go ahead.
It is Shaun of the Dead.
Oh yay!
This movie is fucking fantastic. The first time I watched this movie, like I laughed, I cried, I was scared, it had everything. And then after I lost my mom, this movie became a lot more sad.
Yeah.
You know, when you have Barbara dying and Sean, Simon Pegg is fucking eating this scene. You know, please, mom, no, mom, please. Like, and it's so heart-wrenching and real, and it's just, there's so many things about this movie that I think are just beyond perfection. So number 5 for me is the amazing, underrated Shaun of the Dead. And it sucks it came out in 2004 at the exact same time as the Dawn of the Dead remake. So a lot of people were like, oh, this is just a scary movie version of Shaun of the Dead or Dawn of the Dead. And it's not. It's its own film. Like, it's not a spoof. Like, it's such a great movie, and it's heartfelt. And there's a lot of love in this movie, like the love between Liz and Sean, the real, true love between Sean and Ed. You know, it's just like it's just sad.
No.
And then he dies. You know, next time I see him, he's dead. Where did you get these lovely ladies? Girl That's Scary are amazing. The real horror queen over here, the real queen of horror. You can find them. All their links are down in the description because they are amazing. They are perfect. And Ash and I are so blessed that we get to spend some time with them again. So make sure you are checking them out, following them, becoming a part of their families because they're amazing and you're going to want to be a part of them. Shaun of the Dead is a great horror comedy. Yeah, it's that. Nicholas, I agree with you. That scene gets me ripped apart every time. Happy birthday, Ash.
Thank you.
Dylan Moran's character did nothing wrong. In which film? I think I missed that one.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, we are up to number 4, and that will be Zena starting us off.
Gosh. Okay. I know it's coming every single time, but I just get nervous. So I'm gonna go with Poison for the Fairies. This is a Mexican horror thriller. It was my first Carlos Enrique Taboada film, and I fell madly in love. This is very witchy, so Ashley, you may enjoy it if you haven't seen it, or if anyone haven't seen it, you like witches and stuff. The ending, I remember like when I first watched the movie, I was so confused and I was just like, whatever, right? Just, shut my TV off and moved on. And then weeks later, I just found myself that I was still thinking about it because that ending is very bleak, very raw in your face type of thing. But
what was it called?
Poison for the Fairies. I don't know if it's still on Shudder, but it used to be on Shudder.
It was last time I checked because I definitely hit play on that like a month ago or something
Okay.
like that. But just double check, just double check.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you hate
I'll
it?
have to check that out.
No, I saw it before. I liked it. I was watching it again. Yeah, no, you recommended this.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, well, just in case, you could tell me if you hated it. It's fine.
Oh no, I didn't hate it.
So we've got all of them witches, Poison for the Fairies, and Totally Killer
Yeah.
to watch. So I am keeping notes. So very excited to watch these.
Yes.
Now we have Kat at number 4.
Okay, so my number 4 is just a top flight movie. It is Dream Warriors because it is one of the best installments in the Nightmare on Elm Street film series. This was one that I was really fighting putting all of them on a continuous, but really it's just Dream Warriors. The Dream Warriors is the girl. It's got an all-star cast, a lot. It's got young Larry Fishburne. Who the hell doesn't want to stare at younger Larry Fishburne? I want to stare at Larry Fishburne right now, and I don't care who has to feel about that one. I just be looking.
And that was back when he went by Larry Fishburne. He wasn't Lawrence then. He was still little boy Larry at the time.
Oh, Larry.
Yeah, old Larry Fishburne. That's actually like a lot of people talk about him and the amazing things he's done. That's my second favorite role of his, actually. My first favorite, which may surprise a lot of people because I think it's absolutely amazing. I'm blanking on the title now.
It's okay.
Outer Space, Hellraiser, Alien, Together.
Event Horizon.
Event Horizon.
I was like,
oh my gosh, that was gonna make me crazy. Event Horizon with Lawrence Fishburne, Sam Neill. Holy shit, those two together.
Damn good time. That was this movie.
Fantastic, and again, fantastic choice. I think that universally, that's the most loved Nightmare on Elm Street film. Yeah. Because I think this is the only film in the franchise where you're genuinely rooting for every single kid. You're not just rooting for Freddy to go in and tear ass. You're like hoping every kid makes it out. Maybe except the wizard kid. But besides that, you're really hoping.
Dang, not even him. He's trying to roll 20, man. He's trying to get it right. Leave him alone.
Freddy was like, "Is this what we're doing now?"
He wrote a 4. Sorry.
So what about you, Jazz? What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Halloween, 1978. I love that movie. That is something that used to come on Halloween, like every year. So it's one of the first horror movies that I got, my eyes on, because they used to always have those marathons because it's the theme. I have a Michael Myers mask on my shelf. Like, it's nothing that's gonna get in between me and Mikael. Like, it's just really like it. I don't care how many movies he makes. I don't care if they send him to space. I'm going to be in the front row. I love him. I love, when he sneaks and creeps around the shadows. He don't really say much. I don't appreciate what he be doing with the dogs. I don't like that, I feel like
eating the dogs. Leave the dogs alone.
He's gonna have to speak for that when he goes down Snake Way, amongst other things. But also, it's just the Halloween, like it's just essential, like quintessential Halloween feel. Like if I want to feel like in the mood for fall, it's dun 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 dun. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. So yeah, I love that movie, and I can quote it because I've seen it so many times.
Sure.
Yeah.
Honest question for you, Jazz.
Oh, here we go.
Why are you the way that you are?
We said no Halloween slander.
Oh, okay.
You know what? Hey, that's okay. Because I know I've made it when I made a hater. All right. I know I made it.
Yes, I love that.
I'm gonna stand next to Michael. I'm gonna stand next to him.
Everybody agrees. And I will say this. When it comes to the prototypical slasher, it's Halloween. If you're looking for like what the prototypical slasher film is, it is Halloween. Now, for me, someone that started off with Child's Play, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, and then went back to Halloween later in life, I thought the first Halloween was boring the first time I had seen it. I was like, I got Jason shooting harpoons in people's eyes and Chucky breaking voodoo dolls and shit. But you
the
got
first Friday the 13th is kind of boring too
Okay.
until like the last act.
Yeah.
So
We watched that girl
So-
make popcorn, stovetop. I'm not even gonna
yeah,
lie to you.
she's making coffee for like 10 minutes. Like,
Michael and
girl,
Bennett
do
horror.
something. Yes.
I mean,
Like
I
Michael
still
and
got it on
Bennett
DVD.
horror. Okay, I'll give you that. Jason made it better. So now we're up to my number 4. This movie, whenever I go on a podcast and someone wants me to come on and talk about the scariest horror moment or the horror moment that scared me the most in my life, it's the ending of this movie. I'm very comfortable. The ending of this movie, I think, is where my anxiety started in my life, and it is Tales from the Hood. I watched this movie for the first time. I was probably 6, 7 years old. And again, I'm going to be completely transparent. A lot of it went over my head. I didn't understand the weight of the movie. I just knew I was scared and uncomfortable. That's all I knew. And then you get to that ending. You know, this ain't a funeral home. This ain't the Terror Dome neither. Welcome to hell, motherfuckers. And then the snake tongue. And you see them burning up and it crumbles into hell.
Shaking.
Like,
They were shaking.
Yeah. You watch it now, it's a little corny. As a 6-year-old, and again, I grew up in a very, very religious household with a very religious grandma. And at that age, there's nothing scarier than the thought of hell. And so to see these people who I've been following throughout the whole movie see themselves in the coffin, and then, right away when Mr. Sims is walking down the hallway and he's touching them light bulbs, and it's just like, oh no. And then, like you said, you get that moment, and then the clothes get ripped off and he gives you that, ugh, when it happens. And then he morphs into Satan. I cried the first, like real cried. Like, I'm scared. This is what's going to happen if I'm not a good boy. I transfer that into my real life. And to this day, when people are like, hey, would you like to come on our podcast and talk about the moment that scared you the most or the scariest movie? This is the film I always talk about because I truly believe in my heart of hearts, my real life anxiety that I have to treat with a rainbow assortment of pills today started with that Tales from the Hood moment. I was like, holy shit, when I die, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to be standing outside of a funeral home with a couple of my friends having an argument like this.
Man, I never understood that, man. Why the fuck you gonna refry some beans, man? Why not just fry that shit right the first time and get up?
And then I'm going to go to hell. So
I'm sorry. I hope that doesn't. No, you're gonna
now
have
we're to be.
But it's still to this day, it's a movie that, because I'm a huge fan of anthology movies. Except for we won't talk about that piece of garbage. But
wow,
I don't like Trick or Treat.
He doesn't like Trick or Treat. I know, it's ridiculous.
One of you guys has to dislike Trick or Treat, right? I can't be the only one.
No, like
Nobody.
I love that movie.
Nobody.
I respect you, but I can't bail you out.
Again.
You're gonna
I'm
pull
so
up.
sorry.
But honestly though, for me, number 4 has to be Tales from the Hood, just because of the impact it had on me as a kid, just with that ending alone. So what about you, my love?
So my number 4 is where horror started for me. It's the first actual this is horror movie that I watched. Not like an adjacent horror or anything like that.
I don't want to be there.
Yeah. So Pet Sematary. Zelda, she gave me nightmares. She was so scary. All I could think of was she's gonna twist my back and I'm never gonna get out of bed again. And just that movie, I don't know. It's so special to me because it's my first movie, my first actual horror movie that I ever seen. And I don't know. It's the nostalgia of it. I love that movie.
Yeah, and that's completely fair.
Yeah.
So we'll catch up on the chat before we get into our top 3. Halloween is on the Mount Rushmore of slashers. If the film didn't release, I agree with you. Even though, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the first film. Without Halloween, we wouldn't have Friday the 13th. That's just a fact. Without Halloween, we wouldn't have Scream. And again, this is just a fact. This isn't an opinion. This is all based in reality. And I think you got to put Michael up there for me. For me personally, it would go Michael, Jason, Freddy, Chucky. That would be my Mount Rushmore because of the time I grew up in. So, as I've gotten older, I think Michael is the scariest. That's just your next door neighbor that snapped,
Yeah.
went crazy. This shit could happen.
He's just a sociopath.
Yeah, he's got the devil's eyes. The blackest eyes. Tales from the Hood last story made me so uncomfortable. Great overall film. Happy birthday, Ashley.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Yeah, not a big fan of the sequels either.
The third one is not that bad. The second one, though,
I will say I do love the ending of the third one, and I like the first story, like the basketball story. I thought that was pretty good, and the ending with the little girl, I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah.
It's Tony
story. Yeah, there's another. Like 3 is they just needed a little more money. That's all. They needed a little more money.
Yeah.
The content wasn't because two hurts me. I can't rewatch 2. Like it pissed me off. Like it's one of those movies. You know, I don't really. If y'all follow me on Letterboxd, I don't give a lot of movies half star. You know, that's a movie that got half star. Like that is. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. That's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. I'm so sorry. And y'all did that to Keith David. I can't believe y'all get again minus that half star because how dare y'all?
The thing for me was there was 2 different segments in that movie that were way too real. You know, with the dolls and then with Emmett Till. Like that shit was gross.
Yeah.
Like in the next couple weeks, I know it's out for our members right now, but Ashley and I did our least favorite horror movies of all time. Spoiler alert, that's pretty high on the list. I'm with you. When I seen that movie, I felt physically disgusted in the decisions that they made, especially with the Emmett Till story that was just completely unnecessary. If you're going to use something like that, you better pay the utmost respect to that type of situation, and they did not. They made it a joke essentially, and it was really gross. Yeah. So, and it's the same. It's Rusty Cundiff. Like it's the same guys from part 1. Like you're literally stepping on your balls for what you did for part 1. So I agree with you, Jazz. Like it was really disgusting the way that they did that movie.
Yeah.
Choice for me.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't like it. I want to. I don't.
Nobody understands.
See, I can stay on that hill by myself. I know.
Oh.
Trick or treat is better than trick or treat.
Okay.
I'm proud of you. You know that. I hope you do.
Okay. I've been waiting for weeks to use that.
You're ridiculous.
Lewis Creed falling out of bed always makes me laugh. Pet Cemetery is great. The Kid with the Razor. First horror movie I saw was Jeepers Creepers. Oof, that's a rough one. Well, thank you for stopping in for a minute. I know you're across the pond, but we appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Hey.
So, all right, guys. Wait, what was that? T. Parker, slow down. Beat. Back up. So
I mean, it is.
Now we're up to number 3, and that will be Kat starting us off.
Well. It is one of the best movies of all time. I'm coming in with a movie I'm always burning into the ground. It is Return of the Living Dead. Because yes, you see where it's going. It's a good movie. It's a fun movie to rewatch. You can just put it on the background. I don't know how many times I've seen this movie, but I want to watch it again just because I talked about it. Trash is the movie. Shout out to Linnea Quigley. Tonight. Okay, bitch. You already know what's going on. It's just like, it's so good, Miguel. You know, I love this movie like many zombie movies, and I'm so sorry if I'm about to spoil it for you because it's been around for like longer than I've been alive. So, you know, I like how like in this movie, like most zombie movies or zombie apocalypse movies, none of us make it out in the end because it's very realistic. Even when we think that we get to the top, the government's always there to smack us back down to size. We love capitalism and we love government espionage. So that's how I felt about this film. And the zombies move fast. They have jokes. They tell us what it's like to be dead. They're calling for more cops, so they're very ACAB. Like it's great. It's great. I love this film, and if you've never seen it, you should check it out.
It's such a punk rock horror movie. Like it is like the epitome of punk rock horror, and it's so amazing. Great choice.
Awesome.
What about
I
you,
just
Jay?
love that. I'm sorry, just real quick. I just love that you just said tonight, and everybody just knows.
Everybody knew what time it was.
Yes, everybody started dancing. Not in the graveyard. That's disrespectful.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
no.
Never that. Never.
Everyone got super serious then. Like,
Don't be dancing on
Well, I
people's
don't play
graves.
that.
time that you brought the grave.
Yeah.
I know some people do that, but I don't.
Yeah,
I don't do no shade of the people. I just no.
That's like us.
No.
Even like people are like, "Hey, you want to do a Ouija board?" I'm like,
Hell
"Hey,
no.
no,
I wouldn't even let my daughter buy it. It was like a little mint thing and it had the Ouija board on it. I was like, no, you're not bringing that in my house.
This is the closest we have.
I don't
Yeah.
even
We have
have
our
that.
Sledgehammer horror.
Yeah.
Like,
We don't.
I don't even
have-
want the planchette. I
we don't
ain't
have
gonna
a
lie to
board,
you.
though.
Yeah, we don't have a board.
There's no
Like,
way.
nope.
I'm not bringing that juju here.
No,
No.
not even close.
No. We were in Salem recently, and my mom called me. See, look at Jazz's face. To fuss at me and Jazz over the phone because like I told y'all not to go into none of them stores.
We was definitely in the store. We was real close to. We should not have been that close. I seen a little bit too many things. I was like, this is a little demonic. I need to leave.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to them. It's cool to have other religions and stuff, but also I grew up in the South and Christian. I'm scared. Let me go ahead and turn my coat tail right on out of here.
Hey, like a couple of
I'm
years
an
ago.
outsider.
Same, like a couple of years ago, one of my neighbors, like, you know, she knows that I'm into horror. She found a Ouija board buried in her backyard. You know what she did? She walked herself over and asked if I wanted it. No,
Get off my porch.
Yeah.
I can't believe she touched it.
I
No,
know.
man.
Who buried it? Like,
Yeah, not only do I
clearly something went
Yeah.
down that they buried that thing.
not only do I not want it, I not want you
Bare
to leave.
hands.
Okay. It's time for you to move out and take your board
Yeah.
with you.
No.
Have you heard from her lately?
Right.
Avoid her.
Smart.
That's probably
That's for the best. Oh, that's awesome. It's not awesome that she brought it to you,
Yeah.
but that's awesome.
Mm.
How about you, Jazz? What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Suspiria, 1977. The soundtrack, it's the colors, it's the Italian outfits. Like something about the 70s Italian aesthetic with the fashion houses. The girls were doing things that nobody else was. And that's why I like the first Omen so much, because of the aesthetic. It looks like a Giallo film, and I love Giallo films. Also, Suspiria was that gateway into Giallo for me because I didn't know what Giallo film was before Girl That's Scary. And I was like, and I know they don't count it because it's supernatural and blah, 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 blah. But, you know, it's like adjacent because they get you into all the other stuff like Fucci, whatever. It's a blast. I will watch it for no reason. I know the plot is not, you know, don't look too close at the plot. Don't do that. Don't do that. Look at the outfits, look at the colors, listen to the music, watch out for the men. That's all you really need to know. And she's an icon. Yeah.
The 4 rules for watching that film.
There you go.
I love it.
Don't look too close being number 1.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like that also introduced me into that world of Giallo. That, like you said, that was kind of the gateway drug into getting into that. Like you watch it, and you're like, this is a little different. Yeah, and you kind of go down that rabbit hole of what is Giallo and what can I watch, and here comes Mr. Fulci, ready to show you a thing or two. So I love it. Number 3 for me is a made-for-TV film, and it is my favorite Stephen King adaptation, and it is Sometimes They Come Back.
Oh, yay!
This movie, again, one of my biggest fears in movies is when you do something with an inanimate object. And the Stephen King made-for-TV movies perfected this. In this movie, you have them watching the home video, and then the brother gets scared and looks at the camera and does the "Run, Jimmy, run!" And I'm like, oh, it's not supposed to do that. That's scary. You know, then like in like the made-for-TV It, when he's looking at Georgie's picture and the picture winks at him. You know, when stuff like that happens, like that really scares me to the core too. And I love Sometimes They Come Back. And I've talked about it before. If you guys haven't seen it, it is free on YouTube. This is a movie I would love for them to remake now. I would love to see this on the big screen with a budget, not just made for TV. I think they could do a lot with this film. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's my absolute favorite Stephen King adaptation. Number 3, Sometimes They Come Back.
Oh, wait. Quick question. What do you like the sequel? Sometimes They Come Back Again?
Sometimes They Come Back Again was good. Sometimes They Come Back for More. I was just like, okay, I'm done with this.
I didn't see
I didn't see that one. Hold on.
You don't have to. But what I like about sometimes they come back again is it really is its own story too. And that's what I love. If you're going to do a sequel to a movie like this that they didn't have a sequel in the Stephen King literature world, go ahead and do something like that. Make it your own. That's what I love to see. So sometimes they come back again didn't bother me. I thought it was fine. It's kind of like House 2.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those movies where I'm like, it has nothing to do with the first one, but it's its own movie and they made it their own. So yeah, good for you. I like it.
My number 3. Okay, so you're gonna say, well, that's not a horror movie. It's horror adjacent, and I had to add it to my list because of my obsession for it. And it's Hocus Pocus.
It's 3 witches trying to eat children.
Yeah,
horror.
Like
okay.
This is where I really like fell in love with like horror and Halloween and stuff like that. This is one of my comfort movies that I make my family watch with me every Halloween. I did it when I was a kid. Now I make my kids watch it with me, no matter what they say. Like, we're gonna go trick or treating, and then tonight we're watching Hocus Pocus because it just means so much to me. And I feel like it really it was that gateway for me. Like, I wanted the
gateway horror is still horror.
Yeah. So I had to have it on my list because of the love that I have for it. So.
Well, every year at Halloween we watch this and trick or treat with our girls every single year. So I put my personal feelings aside because my daughters love it.
Actual Halloween night,
it's Hocus Pocus.
We always watch.
But
Hocus
Halloween
Pocus.
Eve, we watch trick or treat. We go to Spirit Halloween. We get our girls the Sam suckers.
Yep.
And they all eat their suckers, and we watch trick or treat.
We just have our traditions, and like I had them with my family, and now I do them with my own little family, and it's just hopefully maybe someday they'll
do it with their
family.
Continue
on. Yeah.
So, and I agree. Like, it's, even though I'm not a fan of Trick or Treat, it's a movie that I couldn't not watch.
Yeah.
Because of
it's another one that's so comforting because of like the Halloween feel with like the Halloween decorations and like the leaves falling, and it's just like, I don't know, it
the best thing about watching Trick or Treat at Halloween the night before is it really puts you in the mood to go to sleep. So you're really ready. You're bored. You're ready to go to sleep.
Okay.
Okay,
Jason goes to hell, lover.
Spouse. It's about to be spousal.
Spousal what?
Arguing.
Yeah.
Don't hit me. I ran into a door.
Okay.
So, Zena, you want to give us your number 3?
Okay, number 3, I'm going with Dream Home from 2010. It's a Hong Kong slasher. And yeah, it's brutal. There's a lot of horror no-nos. And a horror no-no includes a pregnant woman, something happening to her, and the fetus. So yeah, it's a brutal, bloody, vicious, mean, fun movie. And I love it.
Yeah, I second that. That's lit. I love that movie. If Inside is a family film, then yes, it's a family film.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I've got All of Them Witches, Poison for the Fairies, Dream Home, Totally Killer.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got some movies to
watch.
watch.
We got some notes. Yes. So I'm gonna have to check this out. Yeah. I'm very excited to watch it. So.
I love when we get new movies to watch that people love.
I'll let you answer this one.
What do you think about Hocus Pocus 2? I enjoyed Hocus Pocus 2. I went into it knowing that it was never gonna be the first one. I just knew that because of how much I loved the first one. And so I just put all that aside and I had fun with it. I enjoyed it. It brought back nostalgia from being a kid, and there
was also a special reason why we liked Hocus Pocus.
Yeah,
too.
we watched it in Salem, so that we were surrounded by all that. So it was
we took the trip to Salem
to
go watch Hocus Pocus 2 when it was released.
And it was amazing. Yeah.
So
we had a really great time and I did enjoy it.
It had a really good jump scare to it actually. When they're running through the woods, like, who are they singing to? And she's like, you.
Yeah.
She jumps out of nowhere. I was like, Sarah Jessica Parker made me put my pants.
And I love seeing the witches back, and I had a good time with it.
Halloween Town is watched every year.
I love Halloween Town too. Yeah.
I was more into Ernest Scared Stupid than Hocus Pocus. Ernest Scared Stupid is great too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. We made our kids watch that last Halloween?
Yeah. I still quote it all the time. He's like, you will pay for the sins of your forefathers. I didn't have forefathers. I only had one and I barely knew him. Shit's so good. All right, we are up to number 2, and that will be Jazz starting us off.
All right, guys. Number 2, y'all heard this before. Tales from the Hood. Tales from the Hood is very special to me. It's not one of the first horror films I've seen, but I saw it at a young, impressionable age, and it's one of the first ones where I, connected. I was like, down to. I know somebody with that hairstyle and them chancletas that she got on, that the glasses they use, and that doorknob, like everything in there is like, this is tangible memories or tangible, like a tangible aesthetic for me. And that's one of the first times I'd seen something like that in horror in particular. And yeah, I love this movie. I watch all the time. That third one is stressful. That like not the third, but that one of the last stories is very stressful. But it's important, especially when he talks about, how people change their life around. Although, that I could skip that story sometimes because that I'm stressed out.
Especially when they're doing that montage of all the real shit.
Like it is wow, because the song is lit. I'm sorry, the song slaps. And I'm just like, oh no, not you showing me all this violence to the tunes, please.
Yeah,
it's heavy.
It really, really is very heavy. But like I said, when you have him in the cage with the Nazi, you're like, oh, please just like, I don't care. You growing up punk rock, we still hated Nazis.
Yeah,
Nazis were the thing that was like, you are the opposite of us. Like that's always been.
Well, yeah, because they're just like, they portray hate, or punk rock is more like love. Yeah,
punk's always just been about love and acceptance. Like, be weird, be yourself.
Be yourself, yeah.
And like Nazi punks were like the worst fucking thing in the world.
They hate everybody.
Yeah, garbage. But I'm glad it's on your list too, because I don't feel alone now for having that on my list because it's so fucking good. Now I'm gonna throw a curveball at you guys because I'm telling you, none of you were gonna see this coming. Because I have seen the movie. My number 2 is Summer of '84.
Really?
I know you guys are shocked. I know it sounds crazy.
No.
Oh my gosh. This is the only movie that we've ever done a Sledgehammer reviews for that I've given a perfect 5-star rating. I loved Summer of '84. I think that, like you were saying, it's very nostalgic. And
it's like before technology took over, and you could just like ride your bikes and be outside all night and not have to worry about anything.
Even little things, though.
There really was a killer next door, so they did have something to worry about.
As a huge video game connoisseur, I've always loved video games, and they even put. I am just spacing on so many things tonight. The video game they put in the background.
You're the one that pointed that out because I had no idea what that was.
I pointed it out when we were watching. I was like, "Oh, did you see that?" And why can't I think of the name of the game? God, tonight is not my night. But it's a cursed video game that killed people back in the 80s in the Oregon area.
It never really existed, did it?
Well, they don't know if it existed or if it didn't exist. And we even talked about it in our review. And it was just so amazing to see them actually put it in the movie. And I actually messaged Matt Leslie, the writer, and I was like, dude, did you really put this in the movie? Like, that's brilliant. He's like, yeah, dude, we had to put that in there. Like, that's just a dope moment. Are you looking it up?
Yeah, but I don't even know what to put in.
Yeah, it's gonna come to me later when the stream's over, and I'm gonna be like, that was it. Polybius.
Yes,
Polybius. Look up the Polybius legend if you guys have never heard of Polybius. But and like we said earlier, I'm definitely not gonna spoil this for people that haven't seen Summer of '84. The ending leaves you empty. Like, I felt empty and scared and vulnerable at the end of this movie, because I'm one of those people that likes to put themselves in the mind of the main character, or whoever I identify with the most. And when you put yourself into his position, it's such a dark ending to an amazing film. This film could not have ended any other way. This is the perfect ending to this film. So number 2 for me, a movie I absolutely adore. And again, the only perfect review I've ever given on the channel, it is going to be Summer of '84.
Okay. My number 2 is Halloween '78. Surprise, surprise. I love Halloween. Again, Jazz was talking about it. When you think about like the Halloween season, like this is something that you put in, and it gets you ready. It gets you in the mood for Halloween. And I've talked about this a few times, but my dad, God rest his soul, he always used to dress up like Michael Myers every year, and he would like terrorize people in our town, and it was just really, it was all in like good fun. They would laugh about it and stuff, but like he would put the outfit on and it would just like change him. He was like the dude that rides his bicycle around and is like dressed like Michael Myers. Like it was just, he was such a great guy, and I always used to watch this movie with him every year. So it's really special to me.
Yeah.
And
it's a movie that definitely has, and it stood the test of time.
yeah, it has. Like I absolutely love this movie. This is something that we have to watch around October every year. And yeah,
You cut me deep, Shrek. You cut me real deep just now.
way to kick someone when they're down, Ken.
I'm just saying, number 2.
What do you mean?
That's pretty high.
Really? Get out of here. Did I say anything about your list?
Are you trying to be mean to me now?
I might. There was supposed to be.
Rude. How rude. How rude. How rude. How rude.
You're rude.
You just got Stephanie Tanner.
You're rude.
Zena, you want to give us your number 2?
Number 2, I'm going with Death by Temptation. I watched this one at an extremely young age, and I think that this is what made me want to film. Made me like really like, it was always Night of the Demons. Like I loved it, but I remember like creating some stuff of my own, like in the mid 90s, late 90s type of thing when I was a kid. And it's also one of my favorite trauma movies. There's a lot that comes with this one. I grew up in a religious household, but we were still watching horror movies. And I watched this way too, like I think I was like 3 or 4, I'm fine. And so then there's a bloody shower scene. There's like this hot succubus who's going around New York City brutally murdering men with no regrets, not a care in the world. So I don't know. I'm so disappointed that we never received like a sequel or a remake type of thing. Like I'm open to it all when it comes to this one. I feel like, I know it's not perfect, but to me it's perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is perfect. But no, and that's perfectly splendid.
Perfectly splendid. That's what she said.
But that's the thing, though. That's why I love doing these lists, because we can all watch the exact same movie and have 5 completely different opinions.
Yeah.
And that's what makes doing this fun. If we were all sitting here like, yes, our number 10 is this, yes, our number 9 is this, it would make us boring. There'd be no reason to do these and have these kind of conversations. So
I think it matters like where you were too. Like when you
would
watch
see
a
these for the
movie,
first time.
It's like, for example, Jason Goes to Hell. Like I don't like that movie, and you love it. So
there's no moral. There's just the punchline. It's just like this movie. Like I didn't like it because it's bad, and you like it because you're stupid. So
right.
How dare you?
How dare I?
How dare you? All right, so we are going to catch up on. Oh no, Kat hasn't given us her number 2 yet.
Let's get it. Okay. It is Night of the Living Dead, 1968. Because
the original.
Yes, original. I like the remake. Like, okay, like I don't hate it, but like I'm always revisiting the original. Once again, this is a movie that could just be on at all times. I'm casually watching it. It's Romero. I know the girlies have feelings about Romero's later work, but I don't care. I care. I don't hear what you're saying. I love this movie. And even though, like, once again, when I think of this movie, I think of various things outside of the Dawn of the Dead remakes. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up earlier, because I'm all like, that could have been, it almost made my honorable mentions, because the movie's so damn good. But the conversation around like zombies that move fast or that run, and they're like, oh, that was this. No, there was a zombie in this movie that was moving. This is not a new concept. I love what we were doing in this film. I love, obviously, we all are, for the most part, familiar with like the history and how people were chosen for things, and Dwayne just being the icon that he is. Like we're fending off zombies and telling people what we're going to do up here and what you're going to do down there. And then next week we're a vampire. Like I'm really just like the range, Dwayne Jones, the range. So check this movie out if you've never seen it.
And fans of The Walking Dead, you may know in the very first episode, we have Morgan, who Rick meets up with. His son, Dwayne, was named after him. That was an homage to him. And I thought that was absolutely beautiful on Robert Kirkman's part. So, all right, now we're going to catch up on the chat before we get to everybody's number 1. I agree with you, Starcourt. Completely agree with you. I like The Conjuring 2 more. Ain't No Trees in Botswana. I know I'm Botswanian lumberjack. God, I love that movie. Summer of '84 was great. Reminded me of Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf since I grew up in the 2000s. You think you know me so well, and you think you know me so well. Roman Empire, get out of here. You know both our number ones. Oh, let us know what you think, Cody. I would love to know what you think. Ooh, Paul, I love this. Number 2, Come Play.
Oh yeah, Come Play was
movie
good.
is real personal to me, and the friend of Oliver who misunderstood him over their past did hit my emotional spots.
Absolutely.
This movie is so damn good.
I love this movie.
We are parents and aunt and uncle of autism, and the movie was so good.
Yeah.
So good the way that
Oliver, he just really portrayed an autistic kid really well. Like we literally looked up to see if he actually was on the spectrum, and he's not. And like, you know, some movies
they oversell autism.
And it I don't know, it brings it down for me when they do
it's
that.
unrealistic.
But I think the kid that played Oliver did a fantastic job, and I legitimately cried at the end of this movie.
Bawled at the end of Come Play. Like one of those ugly cries at the end of Come Play. It's like you get the ugly cry from being happy, then sad, then happy again.
I think I really like understood the mom's frustration. Like she's just trying to communicate and be able to get through to her son, and then dad's like the fun guy and doesn't really have rules, so he kind of like always goes towards dad, but mom like is trying to get him to...
Have you guys seen Come Play?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you got to check it out. It's an emotional roller coaster. But it's very, very well done. Very well made film from start to back. Yeah. And you get a couple little twists throughout here, and they're not the twists that you would think. Like why the bully is being a bully.
Yeah.
You know, like you get these twists that you don't see coming that I think are really, really well done.
And like Paul said, like the misunderstanding of like what was really happening there between these like what he's seeing and what he didn't understand with autistic kids and things like that.
A lot of this movie feels extremely real. Yeah. Like there's for being the fantasy movie that it is, there's a lot of it that's really, really grounded in reality, and I cannot recommend it enough. Number 1, always The Thing. All right, well, let's get to number 1. So, like we said, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, guys. And the journey is coming to the destination, and you all knew it. My number 1's House. 1985. Roger Cobb. Like this is where horror started for me. This is Sledgehammer horror would not exist without House. I could say that with 100% confidence. And meeting William Catt, I was so nervous to meet him because we had heard all these stories about how he was a dick and really short with people, and he was not. He was with our experience.
Yeah, we had a good experience with him.
And he even did, because my mom and dad owned a mom and pop video store when I was a kid. And so I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, and me and my grandma would watch House all the time. We would play House, where we would go to the closet and be like, we're going to open it at exactly 12 o'clock. And then I would open the door and we'd run like there was a monster coming at us. And William Catt did a video message for my grandmother, thanking her for being a fan and thanking her for watching with me. And he didn't have to do that. He was just, I asked him if he would do it on a whim, and he was like, absolutely, of course I would. I would be happy to. What's her name? I just gave her this, 2-minute video message about how much it meant to him. And that made me love and appreciate the movie even more. And then meeting Kane Hodder and Kane telling us like, this is when, which is even funnier because Kane Hodder photobombed that video. Like he was there and he was just like, hey, and he was telling us like, if you look at this part, you can see that it's me and not William. You can see because of the hair that it's a wig, and you go back and watch it. And you're like, you're totally like, you could totally tell now.
Cat Williams was also
William Catt.
Yeah, I don't know why I do that all the time. I think I'm dyslexic, but he literally said how like you almost killed me to Kane Hodder for one of the stunts.
One of the stunts, he's like, you almost had me killed.
Yeah.
I was like, which one? Kane was like, we'll talk later. Just walked away. I was like, but yeah, for me, it has to be House. For always and forever. This movie is so special to me. I still watch this movie probably 5 to 6 times a year. So it's, and I gotta agree with Tyler here.
This is
House is so good. It is
focus. You can literally like recite the entire thing.
I finally watched recently the cover movie, and that's how I saw it for the first time. My grandma was tired of watching Ghostbusters, And she was like, let's pick out a different movie. And I saw that Ding Dong, You're Dead. And I was like, that one. And she was like, are you sure? And I was like, that one.
Yeah.
So we watched it and we just both fell in love with it. So number one for me, House. And I know what your number one is.
Do you?
I do.
You think you know me?
She had this. I knew me and her were going to be together for the rest of our lives when I went to her house after our first date, and she had this poster on her wall.
It's People Under the Stairs.
Yeah.
I have always loved this movie. It scared the shit out of me. The boys under the stairs scared me. Like when I was a kid, I didn't really realize that they were the victims too. They were just like the scary monsters that lived under the stairs. And mommy and daddy, like terrifying. Especially daddy, like
In the
scared
bondage
in the
suit.
bondage, scared the shit out of me. Like that's what nightmares are made of. And like Fool, he was fantastic in his role. He was a young kid and he did such a great job. And I adore this movie.
Ving Rhames was great in his role too.
Mhm.
You know, like everything about, and like as a kid, there's a lot of this movie I didn't understand as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, like the social class differences,
Right.
and even the part where she's chained to the wall, and Daddy's up there and he's touching himself.
I hate that.
He looks so smelly.
"Oh, stop it,
Yeah.
please."
Or like when he's like going to beat her because she did something bad, and you
He's
just
taking
feel
off her belt. Like,
yeah, you just feel so bad for these kids. And like now that I'm older, like I realize that the boys under the stairs were also victims, to that, to what was going on. And I really love a horror movie that's a horror movie first and then has a message. Like that's, I don't know.
Wes Craven took a huge chance with this movie, making this thing about class.
Yeah.
And he did an amazing job with this movie, and I'm very excited. We all know that the remake has been announced.
So
Jordan Peele
I
is
feel like-
connected to produce.
I
Which,
feel like if it's in anybody's hands, like good hands, it's Jordan Peele. It just is really going to depend on who he casts for like Mommy and Daddy, and for Fool, like he has to get really good cast for them because that's going to make it for me.
I agree. I think the casting is what's going to be. I'm not scared of the story.
No,
we know the basics of the story. We saw what Jordan Peele was able to do with his producing of Candyman. Again, Nia DaCosta's Candyman.
Yeah.
We saw what Jordan Peele was able to do with his producing side of things. I think if he has his input in this as well, it'll be just as good. By the way, Nia DaCosta, please come back to horror. Please, just come back. Make some original horror films for us. We need this, please, because a lot of that Candyman movie, the greatness of the cinematography, the beautiful. The direction in that movie, fantastic. Nia DaCosta, we're waiting. Come home, please.
I still have that poster somewhere around here. Yeah.
Right there?
Oh yeah, it's a, no.
No.
It's
Okay. Yeah, Brandon Adams was so great as Fool. Watching him in that, and then watching him in like The Sandlot. I'm like, that's my guy. Let's go. I love it.
He just the way he taunted Daddy, it was just amazing. And then you feel bad because he doesn't make it out in the end, like the rest of the boys.
Well, you think he doesn't, then you have Daddy like, oh, you're talking about Roach.
I'm talking about Roach. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Fool. I love when he comes down. He's like, you letting that money slip through your fingers? I've done that a time or two, and it's really just on the candle.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Fool, you're amazing.
But you're so smart. Yes.
Yeah, I love the movie. That was one of our first watch-alongs we ever did on the channel. Was People Under the Stairs. So, all right, so we're up to number one. Zena, what's your choice?
Okay, number one is Veronica from 2017.
Veronica.
Yeah, Paco Plaza. I feel like he can do no wrong in my eyes. I love everything that he puts out. And this movie, when I first checked it out, it creeped me out. I like to watch it for fun. If I ever want to be creeped out, I can always count on this movie. There's so much things where it's just like, why would she do that? But then there's stuff that happens to her that's just like, okay, you can't really control that kind of thing. So I like that aspect of the film where it's just like that part could happen. A certain part, I'm trying not to reveal it, could happen to anybody. So we were talking about a Ouija board earlier. She did kind of mess around with some stuff that she probably shouldn't have messed around with, but it just builds up, if you're someone who enjoys like the creepy type of tone, like right from the start, like I just feel like this movie just comes out swinging right away. And it's still on Netflix, so if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend.
So I don't know if I asked you, but I'm going to ask you this spoiler free. Have you seen Sister Death?
Yes, I have.
I think we talked about it, but
I really love that one, and I love the connection to the first one.
Yes.
Like keep in mind, it's a slow burn, and I know there's some people that's not your thing. That's fine. Then you may not like it. But as someone who really, really, really loved the first one, it was just so satisfying.
Yeah. Right. And if you don't like slow burns, it's fine. Like There was one time in the 90s that I was wrong too. It can happen to anybody. So I'm just kidding. I wasn't wrong. Kat, you want to give us your number one?
I'm so weak. My number one is one of the best movies of all time. It's the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'm not here to debate with anyone. See, we all agree. It is the best movie of all time. I've seen this movie. Don't even know how many times. I've forced everyone I like and love to watch this movie so many times. It's to a point where I go, "There's 30 minutes left in this movie," at exactly like right at the floor show. And I'm like, okay, we're in the last 30. Don't worry, guys. And now, like, and for those who saw the US version, you're doing yourself a disservice. You need to go ahead and tap into that UK version because there's an extra song in the end before we roll out. Because and if you get lucky, there's a DVD that has, or a Blu-ray that has both of the versions on there. I have so many versions of this on physical media and rented because I'm sick, but I love it.
It's a fantastic movie, though.
Not even debatable. It's great.
So we've all given our number ones except for the amazing Jazz. You want to give us your number one?
Okay. If you know me, you knew this was coming. Scream is my number one. Because that has sentimental value. I mean, of course, it was one of the first movies I remember going to theaters and seeing.
Yeah.
And if my math is right, guys, I was 6. I had no business in the theater. But back in the day, they just take you. If you could be quiet, you could go see anything. There's a lot of movies that I saw in theaters that I had no business in there seeing. So I remember I'm sitting here eating it. I got my little hands around this big Coca-Cola or Pepsi, whatever one they had. I'm in here like, oh man, they're killing Drew Barrymore. That's crazy. And me and my mom used to, that was something I watched. It was me and her specifically. So when I feel sad, I miss my mom. I'm like, oh, it's time to watch Scream, girl.
Aww.
And quote it and have a good time. Have a good time. I just watched it literally last week.
Special.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
That for me with my mom is either The Hand That Rocks the Cradle or Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
If I want to watch a horror movie to make me think of my mom, I go with either, like I said, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Amityville Horror.
Yeah, well, that's
Those
why
are the two horror
Halloween
movies
78 is so special to me.
Right. So real quick, we're going to catch up on the chat before we let everybody go. Cat Williams in house, book it. He'll be in the remake. It is William Cat, Ashley. She does it every time too. She's like Cat Williams.
I don't know why I do that. It's just I'm pretty sure I'm
Good call.
dyslexic.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You guys brought up that I haven't seen. Well, I hope that you check them out, visitor, and let us know what you think of them. House is so fun. The hand on the kid's back, the friendship between William and George Wendt's character.
Yeah.
Richard Mole, rest in peace. Halloween 78 is the best horror movie ever made. And yes, can we please finally, John Carpenter is getting his star on the Walk of Fame.
Yes.
Let's go. Him and Robert Englund.
Yes.
Him and Robert
Because
Englund. They're stars.
That's a funny person right there.
That's amazing. I'm so happy. Veronica made it. It makes sense that Netflix promoted the movie to the top movie. Nobody finished. That's such bullshit to me. Because people got scared. Damn it.
Yeah.
Dream Warriors, The Return of My Favorite Final Girl, plus the main man. I love Kincaid. Seen it hundreds of times. Not the best, but easily my favorite.
Yeah.
Well, that's another donation.
Do you still have Kincaid?
I don't think I have Kincaid on here anymore.
Out?
I think I did.
Yeah.
I used to love that. That was my favorite part. Okay, well, let's go with this one. We'll go with an oldie but a goodie.
What the hell was it? A wild animal? Of several wild animals?
What the heck was it? A wild animal? Several wild animals?
That's exactly what I said.
Was it a wild animal? Or several wild animals?
Love that movie so much.
That movie's so weird.
It is so weird, but it's in the most beautiful ways. It is weird.
Yes.
Kat, you're always wrong.
Well,
Starting to sound like her now.
whatever.
Wish granted. Bam.
Cancel.
Obviously, Chucky, Child's Play. Literally forgot to put Gremlins in my top 5, which is a great one.
Yeah.
Rocky Mountain is in a class by itself. Nothing else. I think you meant Rocky Horror. I've been meaning to ask, in light of the tour, when are you doing a Blink album rating? We did that.
Yeah.
We did rate all the Blink 182 albums. If you want to go back through our lives and check it out, we did do that. That is one that we've already done. If they release a new record, we will probably do it again. But with them not releasing a new record, it would just be weird to go back and redo the list. It probably hasn't changed, honestly, since when we did it. But It'll happen again. Barrymore, and yeah, that's so good. Especially because we all
I
thought
think
she was
it
going to be the final
a
girl.
jaw dropper that they killed her off so soon because she was like the biggest name actor in that entire movie.
Well, they took a page out of Psycho's book.
Yeah.
You know, kill your biggest name at the beginning of the movie.
Because I know none of them actors.
Oh,
You need
6-year-old
to
me
check-
ain't know nobody but Drew Barrymore.
Right. Yeah. Check out Girl That's Scary. Check out The Real Queen of Horror. All their links in the descriptions. They're amazing. I promise you, you're not going to regret it.
Absolutely.
Promise.
No.
They're amazing.
Oh yeah, Tilda Swinton is perfect in The Dead Don't Die. So good. No, you're fine. Totally fine. Tom DeLonge out there looking for aliens. Yeah, if you go and check out, like I said, it's still in the lives. You can go back and rewatch it. Spoiler alert, nothing's ever going to be Enema of the State for me. Enema of the State will always be number one. That record changed my life. So, and if you guys haven't seen, in their first performance back, they did I'll Be There When Your Heart Stops Beating by Plus 44. And they did There Is by Boxcar Racer, which I thought was so dope for them to bring both of those back. But that's a conversation for another time. So I know I said it at the beginning, guys, but all of their links are down in the description. Thank you guys so much for coming out and hanging out with us. If you haven't already, please like, comment after the stream, and subscribe. It really does help to build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Our links are in the description as well. Ladies, please don't go anywhere. We got a couple more questions for you. Everyone else, as always, keep talking horror.
Stay who you are.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.
Now we just wait forever.